it actually originally wasn't my idea. I must have to say that, I'll give credit to the people who actually started it off. So it kind of brings me full circle, because the band that I grew up playing with, Chatteris Town Band, tiny little band in the east of England, they decided one year that they wanted to run a project with lots of other local bands to raise money for charity, and they did it pretty successfully. I can't remember who the first charity was, and they ran it again the next year. They did it 3 consecutive years, and in the second year, at the last minute, the conductor was unable to do the concert, and that one was in Ely Cathedral, and the guest soloist for that event was the principal trombone of the orchestra of the Royal Opera House. And I got a call. My dad was involved. Can you stand in for this concert? I was like, I'm going to a wedding the night before. Maybe. I might be a little wobbly and a little headachy, but sure, why not? And so I did all my score study and did a couple of rehearsals and turned up on the day, and it was so much fun. And that event was for the cystic fibrosis charity here in the UK, and the sort of downside to that particular event was that because they held it in Ely Cathedral, it was quite expensive. So not as much money went to the charity as they could. And so the next year, the chap that was running it said, actually, I don't think I want to run it this year. I don't think I can, I don't think it was quite as successful last year as I want. I'm going to step back. And I thought, well, it seems such a shame that it's starting to gain momentum for it just to disappear. So I said, sure, how hard can it be? Told you there's a theme. I thought, sure, I can do this. It's fine. When I was at college, I put on events and did some sort of form of marketing. Again, not my strong suit. And we made noises and people listened to them. Great. I can do that again. But this time, instead of organizing like a brass quintet or a regular sized brass band, I decided, let's have 60 brass players. Why not? That's not many. Turns out it's quite a lot. And so I sort of just wrote to the area that I grew up in, Cambridgeshire in the UK, is really not very big. But within that county alone, there are, oh God, I won't name any of them because I will forget someone, but somewhere like 10 or 12 brass bands. So a brass band generally has about 25 brass musicians. So in that one little area of mostly countryside, there are surprisingly loads of brass players lurking out in the fenland, which is basically kind of just countryside swampish space. Very glamorous. Sorry, Cambridgeshire. And so I wrote to all these bands and I said, hey, is anybody interested? Probably don't send your whole band because otherwise I will have a meltdown and possibly die. So don't send me everyone. But basically every band had some people that wanted to come and join in. And someone from the home band, from Chatteris Town Band, said, hey, can we do this year's event for the Motor Neurone Disease Association? So I said, sure, why not? I didn't want to choose the charity. I didn't want that to be up to me. It was one thing that I did pass off to somebody else. And so, I went from, great, okay, we're going to run this event, to, okay, the event is in about 3.5 months. Better pull my finger out and get sorted. So I booked a church in Cambridge. I was trying to find somewhere that was nice to be in, but was not as expensive as the cathedral was the year before. That was tricky in itself. I mean, we have lots of like lovely buildings for concerts in the UK because everything's old. So it wasn't so hard to find something. I had someone in the band make up all the marketing material for me. Again, not my strong suit. So thought, right, somebody else has got to be better at this than me. I can't make a poster that looks like I didn't design it in Microsoft Word. So, on to someone else. And, in the end, we had about a 50 to 60 piece brass band, a professional mezzo soprano soloist, a tuba soloist. Some of the band members were professionals giving their time for free, some of whom have actually been on the podcast. Jeremy West and Andy Kershaw have done episodes with me and they played in that event. And we didn't have a huge audience. I learned things from, where the location was as to how I could have improved on getting an audience there. But in the end, we sent £1,000 to the charity. So, I was pretty happy with that. That was the overall aim. I didn't really mind as long as the band had fun. the audience that came had fun, and we sent money to the charity, and we did, and it was great. I mean, like I say, the only downside is that I then moved away from Cambridgeshire, and I didn't manage to set up the same sort of thing where I then lived in Oxfordshire, and I've moved again since, which, if you don't know, means I moved from the east of England, south of England, and now I live in the middle of England. So I keep just sort of zipping around the place and making things difficult for myself.